Marjorie Taylor Greene, one of the loudest and most obnoxious voices of the MAGA movement, announced on Friday night that she is resigning. This could be the moment that marks the beginning of the end for MAGA and leaves Trump powerless, a lame duck president far earlier than anyone could have expected. But why now? Why all of a sudden would Marjorie Taylor Greene just walk away? This is a woman who built her entire identity on bluster, bullying, and supposedly never backing down. So why is she conceding now? Today we're going to expose exactly what may have pushed her over the edge and why her exit could collapse the entire MAGA machine. But first, you gotta help a brother out and hit that subscribe button and the bell so you'll be the first to know when we post. This is Pragmotiv News, and it's your boy Trey. So today is special, y'all, because this is officially our 50th episode. It's wild. 3 months ago, this was all just an idea. Now we're sitting at 50 episodes and over 40,000 views. And that growth is because of you. Your engagement, your support, and your willingness to show up every time we drop something new. So for me and Cameron, we want to say thank you. And keep it locked to Pragmotiv News, because if this is what the first 50 look like, imagine the next. So let's go ahead on and jump into what we talk about today. From day one, Marjorie Taylor Greene has been hell-bent on being the center of attention. She positioned herself as the center of the MAGA movement, a figure who mobilized their base, reinforced Trump's sick messaging, and filled a political role few others could, acting as Trump's proxy in Congress, saying the things even he knew he couldn't say. She was a major part in turning the mainstream GOP into the fringe. We all know that MAGA is built around personalities and not policy, and Greene has been one of the most recognizable figures. Her leaving means MAGA loses its megaphone for the new Republican Party that Trump has ushered in. You know, the one that lacks decorum, morals, and just about every other term you can think of that is the bedrock of a civilized society. So publicly, Greene cites frustration with Congress and a desire to, quote, fight differently. But politically, several dynamics are pushing her towards the exit. For one, she has clashed repeatedly with Republican leadership and even with the members of their own Freedom Caucus, the MAGA-aligned Freedom Caucus. So her failed attempt to oust Mike Johnson as Speaker seems to have diminished her leverage. Her feuds with Lauren Boebert, Matt Gaetz, and even Steve Bannon signal that the MAGA coalition is increasingly fractured. The New York Times is reporting that on Friday, even her close associates were stunned after the three-term Georgia Congresswoman posted a 10-minute video on X announcing that she would be vacating her office on January 5th, 1 year before her term expires. One associate said that she did not inform her inner circle until about 20 minutes before her video went up. The article goes on to say that the question, what is going on with MTG, has consumed Washington in recent weeks. And the answer, according to interviews with friends and associates, is that she had become politically isolated, feeling betrayed by Trump, disgusted with her own party, and friendless among the Democratic opposition. When Trump announced on Truth Social, aka Nothing But Lies Social, last week that he had enough of Greene, apostasies, labeling her Marjorie Taylor Greene, and threatening to run a primary opponent in her district, Miss Greene felt blindsided. So y'all, like I said last week, what the fuck did you expect, Marjorie? You have seen how ruthless, disrespectful, and disloyal Donald Trump is. So why did you think you would be any different in his eyes? So now the corrupt $1 million question is, what's next for MAGA? Now, we know MAGA is built on its abhorrent personalities. It thrives on professional shit kickers like Greene to generate constant made-for-TV conflict, to garner attention and emotional engagement. So Greene leaving removes one of those central figures. So what will happen now? Will it collapse and crumble? Something most of us thought would happen years ago. Or will someone else like Nick Fuentes or Steve Bannon take her place? I guess only time will tell. So now that Trump has lost one of his staunchest supporters, what is next for him? Because lately, he seems to just keep pissing off his own base. They were not too happy that he met and fawned all over Zohran Mamdani last week. They really don't like what he did with the Epstein files, which is why Marjorie was pissed with him in the first place. So now that he has lost influence over his party, that means that he's lame duck by the very definition of a lame duck president. Without her, Trump's political leverage shrinks dramatically because nobody else in the House championed his bullshit as much as Marjorie Taylor Greene. And now without her in Congress, it's only going to be harder for the Republicans. So the New York Times is also reporting that, quote, beyond the short-term practical impact, the sudden exit of Miss Greene, the Georgia Republican, who for years was one of the loudest MAGA voices in politics, has highlighted a deep well of discontent among far-right lawmakers at the core of Donald Trump's coalition. That dynamic could make it more difficult for Speaker Mike Johnson to corral his small and unruly conference and threatens to divide the party going into crucial midterm elections in which the GOP majority is at stake, end quote. So translation, they cooked. And just like our resident political analyst and my co-host Cameron says, everything is pointing to a blue tsunami next fall. And for the sake of the country, that can't come soon enough. So to sum it up, Marjorie Taylor Greene wasn't just an amplifier of Trump's chaos, she coordinated it. And without that coordination, MAGA will just become more fractured. So this may very well mark the beginning of the end for Trump's second term and his MAGA movement. And like I said earlier, only time will tell. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and follow at Pragmotiv News everywhere to stay pragmotivated. Also, remember, you can find us across major platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Audible, and iHeartRadio so that you can listen to us even when you're out on the go. Also, please take a moment to share this video with your family and friends because, like I said at the beginning, it really helps us out. Until next time, peace.